Greetings, SCENTHUSIASts. I am joined here today by my pot of ethyl maltol, which is that aroma that makes the candy floss smell and has been used in Angel and lots of extremely sticky, sweet-smelling fragrances since then. So, now why have I brought it? Because it is a powder. I actually leave its own spoon in it. Well, that smells nice. Okay, why mention this? Well, a lot of the time when we're experimenting, we will dissolve this stuff in alcohol and then off we go. So, what have I got here? Okay, here we go. I've got coumarin, which is dissolved in alcohol. This one at 2.5% because it really is quite overpowering sometimes. So just at 2.5%, so I put 2 grams of coumarin up and topped it up to 80 grams, which gives me 2.5% because 80 grams fits a 100ml bottle. We all remember that. Well, why does this stuff and vanillin, things like that, why do they turn up dissolved in DPG or IPM or one of those solvents that doesn't smell of much? Well, partly because they're a bit easier to use when they turn up in as a liquid. And if some people are measuring by volume to start with or doing drops of things and they turn up as a powder, it's a bit of an issue. But also, if you're going to dissolve them in something, if you dissolve them in alcohol, they immediately become dangerous goods, which means that overseas companies cannot ship you small amounts of product and material cost effectively. If they're in DPG, dipropylene glycol, then they can go overseas and they're not immediately dangerous because that stuff isn't flammable, alcohol is. So, yeah, somebody said to me, I said, why have you bought the calone in DPG? And she said, I thought it was better like that because that's what it was for sale like that. Well, calone is a powder. Well, I buy mine as a powder, and if somebody says, can I have some calone? I go, sure, yes, and shovel it in a little pot. But I'm considering putting it in DPG. It's really for professional, big companies that want things dissolved in DPG because then they're pourable. They turn up, they can be poured straight into a huge gallon drum or whatever it is through a small space into the perfume concentrate, which is then going to be supplied to the soap maker or the shower gel maker at 100% strength. And if something's going to be supplied at 100% strength, industry convention is that it will be a clear liquid. It won't have any bits in it. So if it's got naturals, then they're going to be filtered so that there is no sediment, natural pieces in it. But if it's powder, say for example, I try to dissolve, if I put vanillin into what I did on my holidays, I tend to mix the whole lot, put the powders in, keep swirling it around a little bit and then add the alcohol later. But that format would not be acceptable if I were shipping that to a client who then wanted to put it straight into a shampoo or something. It would have to be a liquid. So if I were going to be supplying fragrance concentrate to a client to use in soap or skincare or something like that, I would make sure that it was a clear liquid with no bits in. And that means dissolving in DPG or similar first, a suitable solvent. Why not just put it in alcohol? Well, because if you're a company like that and you're going to put it in soap or something else, alcohol won't work. So it has to be a different solvent. It has to be one that can then be used in, well, imagine you're going to use it for candles. Poof! So that can't happen. Plus, shipping. If you're putting something in alcohol, then you can't send it overseas except as dangerous goods. And as you might know by now, that increases the price by quite a lot. And it means that small samples are not available. But if I'm me, I want to buy the original. So for me to use, then I've got the choice. I want to buy the powder so I can put it into DPG or IPM if I need to, but I have the pure stuff so that I know that I'm working at 100% strength if I want to. And for me, I will take that, and for experimenting, I'll dissolve it here in alcohol and use it from there. Anything else that I've missed out? Well, some things actually don't dissolve very well in alcohol, and they actually dissolve better in other solvents, and then they're more usable. If you're putting something into let's say a small top bottle, try to shovel that into this, nightmare. So I would have to use another vat, a wide top thing, and then dissolve it and then put it in. That's what I would do. But it just means that you have to be really careful when you get something and it arrives. Be careful that it's at 100% or it's at 50%. If you're going to be declaring that on a safety certificate, or you've got to that kind of level, then just make sure that you know what strength it's actually turned up at. Like our methyl latone turns up at 10%. Our galaxolide is at 50%. So that's just what happens. Yeah, I got one that turned up as a solid, and it's in a jar that's like, this is a big 5 kilo. Is that it? How am I going to get that out? Still haven't worked that out. Well, actually, no, I have. It's got to be heated. So there are various reasons why something will turn up in IPM or DPG, but the general rule is it's to make it pourable so it's easily usable, or that for shipping reasons it is going to be less costly to ship because it's going to be less dangerous. Do you want to buy it dissolved already in those things? It depends how you want to use it, but there's lots of reasons. But you know, when I first bought my vanillin, I first invested in 1 kilo of vanillin, I nearly fell off my chair when I opened it up and found it was a powder. I didn't know. How are you supposed to know? Anyway, soon find out. Hope that helps. Any more questions, just stick them on the comments and I'll get back to you.